So Josh Hawley cannot stop talking about porn. Here he is talking to Axios, and he's going to make a tenuous connection here where he tries to link porn consumption with job loss and outsourcing of jobs, and he's going to try to play. I cracked the code. I figured out exactly what he's doing. What he's trying to do, his whole fake populist shtick imploded because he wasn't for $15 minimum wage. He's not for the PRO Act. He's not in favor of any real policies that would help working people. So what he's trying to do is, what's popular and how could I try to build a new brand because the populism thing fell through. So what did he decide? Oh, I'm going to be the Jordan Peterson type. I'm going to be the youth of America. I'm going to try to be their truth-telling disciplinarian father. So that's the new role he's trying. Take a look at this.
Senator, you gave a pretty hot speech at the National Conservatism Conference in Orlando. You talked about the left's attack on men of America.
Yeah.
Why masculinity as your new big issue?
Well, I think what the left is doing is attacking America. They're saying that America is systemically oppressive and men are systemically responsible.
What's a man to you? Paint a picture.
What's a man? Well, a man is a father, a man is a husband, a man is somebody who takes responsibility. As conservatives, we've got to call men back to responsibility. We've got to say that spending your time not working, and we have more and more men who are not working, spending your time on video games, spending your time watching porn online while doing nothing is not good for you, your family, or this country.
So a viewer's watching this and they're thinking, really? What the liberals are doing are going to push me to watch Pornhub more or play Donkey Kong more? Do you mean that literally?
Well, what I mean literally is that I think the liberal attack, the left-wing attack on manhood says to men, you're part of the problem. It says that your masculinity is inherently problematic. It's inherently oppressive.
What's your basis for linking that to what liberals or the left, as you would say, do? Is that based on data or based on a hunch?
Well, it's policy over many years. I mean, if you look at the policy of deindustrialization, those are policy choices Mike pursued over many years.
Wait, how does that connect to porn?
Oh, well, you've got men, 16 million men, Mike, who are idle, who don't have anything to do. Now, partly that's their own responsibility, but also partly it's because jobs have dried up in many cities across America and rural areas too. I think you put together lack of jobs, you put together fatherlessness, you put together the social messages that we teach our kids in school. I think we've got to confront that and its effects.
You won't find a bigger opponent of deindustrialization and the outsourcing of jobs than me. The idea that you connect that to porn is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. That makes absolutely no sense. You know why internet porn is popular? Because porn is popular. You know what was popular before internet porn? Magazine porn. You know what was popular before magazine porn? Other forms of porn. I'm sure back in the caveman days, they'd etch some titties into the wall and beat off to it. Sex is going to be interesting to people no matter what. Totally delinked from what's going on with outsourcing of jobs. And by the way, the idea he's putting this squarely on the left, it was the Republicans and the Democrats who outsourced the jobs. I mean, look at all the so-called free trade deals, which are just outsourcing deals. NAFTA, GATT, permanent normal trade relations with China, the entire World Trade Organization. There, Democratic presidents, Republican presidents, they all supported these various outsourcing deals, and Democrats and Republicans all supported it. But somehow it's, quote unquote, the left's fault that these jobs left. When, by the way, the principled left-wing position is what? Against the outsourcing deals. We want to reinvigorate manufacturing in this country. Have you looked at Bernie Sanders' voting record, for example? He's one of the only people who's been consistently against all the various outsourcing deals. And I don't want to hear, you're concerned for working people and their jobs. This is a guy who opposed the PRO Act, which is pro-union legislation. He was for right to work, which is just right to work for less. Again, it's anti-union stuff. $15 minimum wage. Josh Hawley could have voted for it. He didn't vote for it. So I don't want to hear, I care so deeply about the worker. And again, the link to porn, I can't get over. So he says, the left says that America is oppressive and it's men's fault. Okay, the left says America is oppressive because there are aspects of America that are oppressive. If you work a full-time job and you don't make enough money to survive, that's not on you. You're not just lazy. That's the system. That's the system being oppressive. You know what else is oppressive? Locking people in a cage because they did a substance that hurt nobody else. And it was their freedom to put it in their own body. That is oppressive. We lock up so many people as a result of the drug war. That is oppressive. What am I supposed to do? Not call that oppressive? Of course the system is oppressive. But the idea that the left the left, the boogeyman, the left is blaming men. What are you talking about? Left positions are all about class. It's all about, let's look at the elites and the owner class and the billionaires and the corporations, and let's see how they're impacting our politics. And oh, look at that, corruption is legal. Legalized bribery is here in America. And so the idea that we're just talking about like toxic masculinity or something, what guys like Hawley like to do, they like to take a small but very loud portion of the left, the like overly woke folks, and just define the entire left like that. And it's just extra funny in the Biden era because, as Crystal Ball points out rightly time and time again, the idea that Joe Biden is like some woke college kid with pink hair. What do you think? The guy barely knows where he is. He's a zombie. He probably has never heard the term Latinx in his entire life. Everything he says there is absurd. Men aren't working because they're watching porn and playing video games. You know what? We're so fucked with our current economic system and political system. And you know what one of the few outlets is for, not just for men, but for people? People have their, their so-called vices. So if somebody likes to play video games and somebody likes to beat off, and this is something that they do as a hobby and they feel better, who the fuck are you to judge it? I'm in favor of that because you know what, Josh Hawley? I'm actually in favor of personal freedom. I'm in favor of freedom and liberty when it comes to social issues. I'm in favor of people doing whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anybody else. And the definition of doing what you want as long as you're not hurting anybody else would be like playing a video game or watching porn. It's like, listen, I said it at the beginning. I'll say it again now. Josh Hawley tried the whole fake populist tap dance for a while. It was exposed as the fraud that it is because he's not in favor of the policies that would conform with that. So what's he trying now? He's trying to be like, oh, I see Jordan Peterson is popular and he's like the disciplinarian father for disaffected youth in America. So now I'm going to try to do that. But you're not as good at it, Josh. You just come across as shrieky and annoying. And by the way, I know. Glass house on the shriekiness. Sometimes my voice gets a little loud. I got you. But you understand the point. The point is very simple. The people that Josh Hawley is telling to like buck up and get it together, but don't watch porn and don't play video games. These are the people in the country who have the least opportunity and who have been left behind by a system that doesn't care about them. And so, you know what I want for these people? I want unions. I want a $15 minimum wage. I want to end the corruption. I want all of them to have health care. I want all of them to have paid leave and vacation time and things of that nature. And the little cherry on top that I'll add is, I also want you to enjoy your porn if you like your porn. And I also want you to enjoy the video games if you like your video games. So like, if you are caught in a rut and you're one of the tiny percentage of people who does feel like you're whatever, addicted to porn or addicted to video games and it's getting in your way and you want to fix that, okay. But that's your decision and it's on you. And then I would say, yeah, here's some bootstraps. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But broadly speaking, generally speaking, I'm not going to blame people for liking things that are likable. These are, I wouldn't say jerking off as a hobby, but certainly video games are a hobby. You know what I mean? And no harm, no foul, dog. No harm, no foul. As long as you can take care of other aspects of your life and you want to do that, that's totally fine. Josh Hawley wants to feign like he's fighting for the working man while perpetuating the policies that screw the working man, and then you turn around and berate them for having, some pressure relief valve that makes you feel better. Weird analogy, because it sort of sounds like we're talking about nutting. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.